So a couple of months ago, I uploaded my first ever video to TikTok. I was hysterical in my car with my baby upset in the background. It went viral, for the most part for all the wrong reasons, but there were a lot of people that it reached who have asked me to make more videos going into detail about things to look out for. Young girls, young women that I've now realised follow me. They've obviously not been in a situation or like this yet, and hopefully never will be, and asked me about things to look out for. So I'm going to try to record that now, but it might be quite difficult because there's a lot of parts to it. First thing to look out for, high value items being bought early on in the relationship, kind of unwarranted for like no particular reason, without that person having any assets. So no car, no address, like nothing like that, but seemingly just want to buy like a sudden high value item. It's not a gift, it's a decoy. It's to lure you in under a false sense of security so that you think they've got quite a bit about them and that your life's going to be quite comfortable with them, when in actual fact you will financially suffer and you will realise how expensive your life becomes progressively just from being with them. Secondly, randomly being overly generous with complete strangers. So whilst allowing you to pay for absolutely everything, still manage every bill, everything else, going out, food shopping, out for food, drinks, everything, literally everything, whilst paying rent, and as if you can just pull it out of nowhere. Randomly being generous with strangers. I do have one example. I mean, there's quite a few, but we'd gone to somewhere one time, and whilst I was paying for my own pregnancy massage, he'd just given a young, like timid looking girl behind the bar that was working there in the bit that he was waiting for me, £50, and then he was like, oh, she's so appreciative, she keeps like looking over at me and smiling, and she come over and she was like, really means a lot to me and blah blah blah, but will allow the immediate person to them to pay for everything and be blindly struggling, burning through savings, burning through money, whilst they're not even known like on paper to the government, let's say, no utility bills, nothing else, they have nothing else like that they manage, no assets, nothing else like that. That's a big one to look out for. Saying a lot and doing very little. I can give you that. I can add to that. No, I know, all the rest of it, but nothing ever materialises. And if you ever do approach them, and I mean, let's face it, British people are weird about money. Like, we don't want to talk about it. People build themselves up for months to go into work and ask for a pay rise, even though they know they're due it and they know they've earned it. Like, it's a bit of a weird subject, I think, typically with British people. I don't know what it's like around the rest of the world, but I just feel like it's worse here than anywhere. So that's awkward anyway. I just feel like as a man, if you're with a man that is living in the place that you pay for and that you live in, they won't just blindly keep being there without adding any kind of financial element. It just won't happen. And if you're dealing with one of these people, they will always tell you that they'll do all these things and nothing will ever happen. And when it comes down to it, it's your fault. It's the way you said it. It's the way you approached them. It was your delivery. You were aggressive. They didn't like the way that you went about it. An argument will be caused. That will be that. And it doesn't get brought up again until another argument is caused. You're chasing your tail. Nothing ever improves. Nothing is ever produced. Another thing, I know I should have been sceptical about all these things at the time, but I was too wrapped up in it, and that's just the way it is. Another thing, someone who is all too willing to embed themselves right into your life in every way, but you are kept quiet, removed from theirs. So they want to be around you and like the people that you know. They want to go out like in places local to you and where everyone knows you, and they really want to cement themselves in your life and in all like your livelihood and everything around you, and just to make sure they can like totally fuck you up and never really disappear and like fucking drill down into people that know you and never like just always trying to even drag out the fucking trauma and the way it all carries on even after you're not together anymore, but you're not really involved in anything with them. You don't spend any time with their friends. You don't spend any time in the place that they live, wherever that might be. You've got no real involvement in their life, but they seem to have got into yours whole fucking heartedly in every possible way. Like, even if you've not known them very long, next thing you know, they're pretty much living in the place that you live for free, and everything else is pretty much for free. They're living a totally different life all of a sudden, well removed from theirs, that you've got nothing to do with, and seemingly neither have they anymore. That is another, I think, common trait of like almost a tactic of manipulation that these people use. So I feel like there are loads of other things that I could go into detail about, which I will, but what I'm going to do is kind of break this down a little bit into following videos. So there were certain like really, really strange and really, some things a bit funny because they were ridiculous, and some really fucked up things that happened like along the way that he did and all the rest of it. And so that I'm not trying to think of it all in once because my manic head is like fucking in overdrive. I will do those in a following video, which are things that, I mean, some of them are really, really fucked up, brace yourself, but they're just things that kind of, I suppose, highlighted to me bit by bit, like more and more as it went along, like how bad the situation was that I was in.